Alpha Gaming, they love their Game 5s. I think they would really like to avoid a Game 5 here. These are 4 map sets, maybe a 5th map if there does need to be a tiebreaker. Round robin style for this whole tournament, and we're starting it all off right here.
All right, Zen Goats versus Zen Goats, and with that new main tank here, Natrix gonna be carrying the squad on the front line. Does dodge that stun, and Giga's first to drop here for Chicken Contendies. Tanner next on the hit list, and he's dangerously low. Chicken Contendies, they will take a step back, and that's Paradigm's first fight win.
One of the big things about Paradigm moving through open division, especially through playoffs, was their ability to comprehend and really work well with this composition. They bring Dia in, and he's already looking very solid. They seem like they've been able to reintegrate him back into their system and playing this composition very well.
First cap for Paradigm, Chicken Contendies moving towards Harblue's grab in about 20%, and Gig, again, so low. He's the first to die every single time. This is the focus fire that Paradigm has, and with that main tank disposed of, Paradigm will take another fight.
This is such a good fight for Paradigm to take as well, because this is now 2 fights that they've won. Obviously, the first one going for control of that first point, but outside of that, they've maintained without having to utilize any of their ultimates so far. That's absolutely huge for them because it's already at 35% on the score tick, and they can start really pushing this advantage if they can win this next fight.
Grab versus grab. It's Harblu that launches his first, but the Transcendence and Rally used to counter it. Now only Natrix drops from Paradigm. Now can they hold on to the point until their main tank gets back? They're trying to rotate now towards Chicken Contendies. They have the grab from Lisu. It kind of misses though, only catches the support. Salty there with the self-destruct. Paradigm not out of this yet. They have their players rallied up onto the point. And although Chicken Contendies had the first pick, they don't seem like they're in a position to actually flip the point.
Well, you got to be careful. If this goes on for too long, Paradigm's really going to take advantage of it by not having to utilize too much. There it goes, the flip in favor of Chicken Contendies, and luckily for them, they were able to build up some ultimates in that last fight, so they should be able to string together this next fight. Hopefully, unless we see Natrix come in for a big impact play here. He can make one with this Earth Shatter that he has available, and setting it up is going to be the play for Paradigm.
So they're coming in from the high ground, looking for a play with Natrix, as you said, looking for the shatter, but it's actually the grab from Harblu that comes out first, and Natrix, the only one caught in it, but that's totally fine. Paradigm now don't have a main shield. Chicken Contendies, they follow up with the rest of the kills, and meanwhile, Harblu can just keep all of that energy he's been investing.
You could see Natrix going for the Earth Shatter on that last play, but then Harblu threw out that projected barrier. You can't go for it then. It will just get blocked out. Smart thinking from Natrix to just call that play off. Now they go for the next fight here, and we could see both of these Zens probably actually transcending aggressively, certainly on the side of Dia, because they know that they don't have a grab to worry about.
And you still have that shatter that you're talking about. Kind of the Ryan mind games. Well, Natrix didn't win that one. Slams it down, gets nothing. Now a grab coming online for Lisu, but they lost Natrix. No main shield here for Paradigm. Rally started from both sides. Gig, perfect stun from Hope. Transcendence from Suppose not there to save him. Now, the point's still in control for Chicken Contendies, and Lisu's grab not getting a ton of value, but they're still going for the flip, and Chicken Contendies will give it up. And getting into last fight territory, Herix.
That was all 3 support ults for Chicken Contendies. All 3, and they still lose the fight. So now they have to just be super aggressive, try to go for the lethal strat of just finding a bunch of kills in a combo and playing for control here. But look at the other side. Paradigm ready for this one. They're going to have both the Transcendence and the Sound Barrier to stack up.
You got Shatter, self-destructs. Harblu's about to have grabbed the double kill from Brett. That is perfect. A 2-kill advantage for Paradigm as Chicken Contendies. They have the ults, but they're not even alive to make it happen. One self-destruct from Salty, but it's still, no one is there for Chicken Contendies to keep this overtime going. And on our first round of Busan, it will be Paradigm that take the lead.
And that's the first map take in Contenders Trials of this year. That's a big take for Paradigm too, because now they have a precedent, right? They can start pushing into some of these maps feeling confident about their Zen Goats composition, and that's incredibly important in this meta, on this patch, and especially on this particular map here on Mecha Base. I mean, this is a composition that you're expected to see pretty much throughout this map. It's what has been strongest for a long period of time outside of maybe some iterations like Doom Goats or possibly May Goats, so maybe be on the lookout for that, but I would say predominantly what you're going to see is what you just saw. And if Paradigm can continue that level of performance, they should look good here.
Speaking of looking good, Zengoats, both teams mecha base. I mean, this is to be expected. Very linear map in that sense, but Gig gets quite a head start at the high ground for Chicken Contendies. And remember, it was usually Gig that fell first in these fights, so it's really up to Chicken Contendies to protect him a lot more than he has. Natrix, though, shield is broken, Discord on him. Who's Ryan is first to drop will also decide the fight, as Chicken Contendies, their shield is now broken. It's ring around the rosy on this pillar on the high ground. Now that the point is unlocked, it's Brett who loses mech. Slight advantage for Chicken Contendies as they have the rally. Grav not online yet. Possibly a shatter. No main shield for Paradigm means Chicken Contendies rotate now towards the point. However, they are separated. This should be a fight win for them, but Paradigm almost took advantage of how separated Chicken Contendies were playing.
Good start for Chicken Contendies, but that was a brawl around that pillar. We saw both Reinhardt swinging around that corner. Neither really could do much of anything because of the barrier pressure on both sides. Now you see both teams ready to go with combos almost, right? I mean, Grav's at the ready for both sides. Natrix should have his Earthshatter up as well, so a lot of control in this next fight.
But Chopped has his barrier first, but no self-destructs online, so a whole bunch of people are caught in grabs, self-destructs, supports, ultimates used from both teams. No one has actually died from that volley of ultimates that just happened. Chicken Contendies stalling for time, in control of the point. Salty and Gig are out, no frontline here. Not much of it remaining for Chicken Contendies as Paradigm, they rotate now towards the point. Still 3 left for Chicken Contendies, and this is not maybe decisively won yet because you got Zenyatta, you got Suppose, who's still a force to be reckoned with here with Chicken Contendies, and Paradigm still haven't gotten a successful flip yet.
You gotta force the fight now. Rally's up for hope. Can they retake here?
It has to be here, it has to be now. 25% or at least in less for a grab for Hard Blue, but you don't have Gig and you don't have much follow-up from now. Your support's dying. Chicken Contendies, though, they've done such a great job of stalling this one out with a fantastic boot from Chop there at the end.
And you're ready to drop the grab in the next fight. Both teams utilized a lot at the beginning of that last fight, so Chicken Contendies basically played off of that by allowing respawns to come in and just stalling it out. Here for this next fight, you can expect a little bit more gas pedal, right? Graviton at the ready for Hard Blue. They're just gonna go right to the point with it.
They use the grab, but no self-destruct, only catches Chopped. Natrix, not able to put that shield up in time. What a pin from Gig, though. You got 2 down for Paradigm. Chicken Contendies holding on to this very strongly. Paradigm, though, they'll be coming back with some very important ultimates, but they don't have a ton of time to work with.
Luckily for Chicken Contendies, they're in a much better position than they were on the last round, right? Suppose is all like both gonna have those support ults ready to combat 1-for-1 trades against the support ults that are coming online now for Paradigm. Surely Chicken Contendies should be able to even the odds here.
It has to be here. Graviton self-destruct. The barrier starts from Paradigm, and now the grab is launched. First red team, Paradigm, how explosive can it be? But it's Salty that responds with his own self-destruct, and Brett can't do much with his. Now 3-kill advantage for Chicken Contendies, a barrier to drop. We're about to go into a round 3, and Paradigm have nothing to say about it, and this is what we spoke about here of how tight these teams are since Open Division.
And I mean, a lot can be said as well about just gaining control early. Once you start building up that momentum, I mean, it's a story as old of time, right? For control maps especially, getting momentum early is so pivotal, and making sure that you have the right timings can be a very, very big deal. I mean, you know, typically you see that happening with comp swaps, stuff like that, you know, making sure that you get it at a certain percentage so that you actually have the ability to retake. But when you're playing the same comp into the exact same comp, you're just doing straight up mirror matches. It's all about timings with cooldowns, ultimate efficiency, and we saw how things just went wild on that first retake when Chicken Contendies got control, and they just held on to it.
Let's see if they can hold on to this one. No, the final round, the winner will be decided here of Busan, and nothing different of what we've seen previously. Zengoats versus Zengoats. Gig is always somehow getting quite ahead of himself on now playing around the drum side, and Gig used to like drop really early in these fights, but now it's been a lot more equal. You've seen Chicken Contendies with that round win last time. Now the Diva's also taking that high ground advantage on the drum.
Yeah, you can see both Ryans only taking the fight to their opponent when they have cooldowns at the ready.
Oh, that was great. Natrix got so low, and Gig knew that was the time to push forward, to pressure Paradigm back. And with that single kill that you get on a Reinhardt, that's all you need to push a team back and get that first cap.
So much focus fire on both sides. I mean, these Zens are just so solid. You can see that in their ultimate line as well. I mean, you can see how much they built up, just hammering away into the Reinhardts of their opposition.
Yeah, both Transcendences online, keeping it to mainly save your front line. You can see both Reinhardts being so cautious when they get a Discord Orb on them to keep their shield up. Oh, Gig comes around here with the Shatter, gets a few, the Fire Strike to take care of Hope, and the follow-up from Chicken Contendies is there. Seahawks, they just needed a bit of a warm-up round, and they look much more solid.
Mecha base was a good pivot point for them for sure, but now they have to hold on to this. 40% is a good start. Chicken Contendies, you know you can play this wall here. Harblue is just going to hold it, and he has a lot of energy to play into it with as well. 100, ready to just drop this grab right into this corner.
Oh no, it's Ian! Salty denied it, and now you guys can see it on your UI. No one has to guess what happened, but Harblue has his grab. His is more successful. The self-destruct might have gotten too far, but it still gets the double kill for Chicken Contendies. 65% plus, putting their foot on the ground here in Trials, and Paradigm will have to reset. One last fight for them to turn things around here on Busan.
Look at the advantage for Chicken Contendies as well. I mean, not only is this last fight territory for Paradigm, but Suppose is just ripping everybody to pieces on this Zenyatta, and Gig soon to have his next Earth Shatter. That could be all they need.
Natrix is gonna have the Shatter. This could just blow things open here for Paradigm if he can set it up right. Playing the mind games, playing Ring Around and Rosie with the line of sights. Brett, though, might lose mech. And oh no, Gig answers with his own Shatter. And you already have 2 missing for Paradigm. Now make it 3. Paradigm are missing in action. That 99% overtime will start. But Paradigm have no one left here to contest. And what a dominant performance we've seen from Chicken Contendies, taking this last round of Busan 100-0.
And remember, now we have to go into a hybrid map, and we've seen how a lot of these teams really like to play, you know, things like Nimbani. So if you get into a map like that, you could very well see, at least on second and third, a little bit more of this. And it's been back and forth so far, but Chicken Contendies really showing dominance on the second and third rounds here on Busan. And Paradigm struggling to find an answer with this Zen Goats matchup.
I know his name is Brett, but you guys know him as Arc from Open Division, and I know sometimes they play on their other accounts, but Salty and Arc, aka Brett, were one of my 2 favorite divas from Open Division. Just self-destructs that you can make a 20-minute reel out of. Just quads, triples, just always coordinating them so well with their Zarya, and also the Reinhardt that would get rid of the main shield. Salty and Arc, one of my favorite divas, I think, in Trials.
Yeah, I have to completely agree. I mean, you look at the performance levels across the board, and those are the 2 names that probably stick out the most for that role on off-tank, playing the diva. I mean, especially just with their defense matrix timings, they're usually very consistent. So far, we've seen Salty being able to stand out a little bit. Harblue has actually really looked good today to me, though. I mean, something that we saw a little bit in Open Division playoffs is that Harblue was kind of struggling against the timings that other divas were employing on their defense matrix, and he was getting bamboozled a little bit with his grab timings, right? I mean, where they would lose value with their graviton, but nonetheless, Chicken Contendies was still looking solid without that. Now, if they can maintain what Harblue has done so far throughout this match here, and granted, yes, we're only 1 map in, and there's still a lot of game left to be played. I mean, if they can still continue that, they're going to be looking really solid, I think, in this matchup, because Harblue can really step up in that capacity.
So our next map will be Blizzard World, chosen here by Paradigm, and Chicken Contendies figuring out what side they want, but it will be 1-0 for Chicken Contendies to start us off as we go into our hybrid map, and it'll be Control, Hybrid, Assault, Escort, a 4-map set, and if we need to, we go to that 5th map, which will be Control.
So something I'm wondering here, because both of these teams have interesting dynamics at play in terms of the compositions we can maybe expect in some of these other maps, right? Paradigm, for one, we did see some quad DPS from them. However, it should be noted that Vibrant was playing in the flex support role, and he played Hanzo. The question now is if they do want to pull something like that out, when all chips are on their table in a Contenders Trials environment, does Dia have the same ability to actually pull that out?
And, well, I think Dia is also a player to watch out for. And you even suppose both really known flex supports, usually for their Zenyatta, but they can also bring out that Ana. And Dia's actually European as well. So it's like playing so far away. You got the thing in mind. And he's an incredibly energetic and passionate player. I've been talking about, you know, with his team, you know, when they're winning, they're doing great. When they're not, you see the emotions come out with that team, and that's what's just so great to see. You know, so much on the line for these teams. And in trials, you know, there's 5 spots to go into Contenders and 8 teams to fight over those.
Yeah, so 3 teams are unfortunately going to have to be sent home packing. But right out of the gates, it's going to be Zengoats versus Zengoats here. Paradigm with the map pick, attacking first here. And going to be playing, let's see if we get a feign here, because, you know, a lot of teams, what they'll like to do is they'll start posturing up on left, and then they will just completely speed boost around right and try to go for a Zen pick instantly and maybe open the fight up that way.
And look at Zolik up onto this high ground. He might be trying to push the front line forward and see if they can dislodge it. Look, pushes Natrix forward. Might have allowed the Discord Orb to go through, but not the finish that Chicken Contendies were looking for. But this is how you want to separate the tanks from the rest of the tanks and also from the supports. As Natrix shield very, very low, and you see they want to regenerate that one as Gig's shield is also low. As Paradigm looking for an opportunity, but Natrix is so low HP. I suppose now with the first Transcendence allows Chicken Contendies to push forward and pressure and put Paradigm against the wall. Now coming online shortly will be the Gravitons as Lisu, oh no, the rest of his team just got shattered though, and a self-destruct though gets blocked. Barrier used. So many ultimates already coming out in the first few minutes of the game, but when the dust clears, it's Paradigm that get the point.
Superb blocking there from Hope as well, denying the ability for Gig to find more value out of that setup on the Earth Shatter. Now Chicken Contendies, they gave up that first point already. Now the question is, how are you going to be able to defend this choke point here? You've got Harblue ready to go with the Graviton pretty soon, but you could easily be met by so much from Paradigm. They have the combo ready to go, and looks like they're going to be posturing to be throwing that out immediately.
Paradigm used both support ultimates though, so Chicken Contendies at least have that advantage. Grab thrown out first from Harblue. Paradigm have nothing to say about it as Gig just reigns in with his hammer and gets all the ult charge and all the damage in. Paradigm are back in spawn.
That's a fight that they're willing to let go like that, because now they don't have to worry about Harblue's Grav. Now they can go in, drop their combo, reset ult economy between those two very priority characters. And once they do that, they can start surging forward. They'll have momentum in that second phase, go for a high ground control, and Paradigm should look good in second if they can get this fight win quickly.
Perhaps getting around the corner, the grab from Paradigm could open things up, but they're surrounded from the high ground advantage here from Chicken Contendies. As a shatter did come down, and Paradigm just can't get a good push going. They've lost the initial high ground. Their supports were getting surrounded, and this is really great aggression to see from Chicken Contendies off the bat.
Things go from bad to worse here. Chicken Contendies with their own high ground control, holding right outside of spawn. Graviton now ready for Harblue, so now they have reset ult economy between the Zaryas. However, it's Harblue lapping Lisu now.
Oh, this will be great, but only if Paradigm can actually get out of spawn. Chicken Contendies holding the high ground, making it hard for Paradigm to even touch the cart. Now, an interesting rotation towards the right. Paradigm setting up a shatter here from Natrix, but they see exactly where it's coming from. This will be about perhaps the grabs with the self-destructs, and it's Salty at the back with his! Catches one still, but the offense from Paradigm should still be in a good position. They've trapped Chicken Contendies in opposite position, but Natrix is down! Now Paradigm have lost 2. Their spawns are still close, but Chicken Contendies, when they hold this defense, they hold it like a wall, they hold it like a fortress, and Paradigm just haven't had a break.
Not a break at all, and how are you going to get out of this now? I mean, you have your sound barrier, but Harblue's already at 75% towards his next grab. Remember, he dropped it after Lisu in that last fight, but they cleaned up so well, and Harblue's positioning was superb in that last fight. Now they're going to be able to drop another Graviton so quickly after the last.
Yeah, do we engage with this beat here from Choppy? Use it to keep your team alive, but they get grabbed here from Harblue. The barrier just in time to keep them up, but no follow-up from Chicken Contendies. Self-destruct there from Brett does create the space around the cart that they so desperately need. as a shatter gets blocked there. Chicken Contendies, they surge forward with the self-destruct with the rest of the team, and Paradigm are losing space. They're losing time. 2 minutes and 13, and Paradigm just see no end in sight. They lost their Zarya, they lost the energy, and they're just being surrounded. Finally, they're coming out ahead in kills, and Chicken Contendies have another shatter. Gig is bumping heads with the other Reinhardt, and this is the time that now Chicken Contendies should start to step back.
Well, I mean, Chicken Contendies, they're going to have another grab right as Lisu comes up with one as well, so Harblu can just go first again.
Oh, there's all the front line of Paradigm obliterated from Harblu's grab, and you said this perfectly before this map. Harblu's tremendously improved with his Graviton usage and overall his value as a Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, being able to build the grabs this quickly as well. I mean, he's dropped like 5 grabs already in this map alone, and it's been, what, like 5.5 minutes? That's actually insane.
Paradigm, they need to make an insane offense happen. They've been stuck here for ages. The Ice Ages is happening. That's how long it's been. Grab self-destruct. They're trying a rotation, ring around the rosy to now the front of the payload. They have a barrier. They have the tools. Chicken Contendies don't have any support ultimates. The grab is launched. It only gets Gig. Self-destruct from both ends, and it clears both teams. Now without a front line, or at least a main shield for Chicken Contendies, they use the Transcendence to keep them up for the moment. Paradigm engaged with their own Transcendence, but the payload just hasn't moved. A Graviton again from Chicken Contendies clears out Paradigm's offense, and we're down to the last 40 seconds of the game here.
Oh, they're going to go ahead and stagger this D.Va as well. I think they have the opportunity to body block here, and they do. So take that 35 seconds that we just talked about and just minus about 7 or 8 from that. And that's what they're going to be working with for what is going to be their last push. And if they can even win this fight, then they still have to operate in overtime with opportunity for Chicken Contenders to go for another high ground approach later in second.
So a shatter could be set up here from Natrix. Keep your eye on him as he now slams it down, finds Tanner. That could be a kill, but just Contendies, they peel for each other so well. You've rarely ever seen them die. And Paradigm, seconds remain. They're not going to get a car push going past the opening choke. And I've almost never seen this happen. Paradigm, they can't even touch the cart. And now there's a full hold possibility here for Chicken Contendies on their next attack.
I tell you what, I'd love to get a stat line in terms of how often Harblu was able to generate grabs in that. Because, as you say, and I think this is the most compelling thing about the way that they defended there, is that when you do defend that close to a spawn, to try to hold a choke down like that, you do have to stay stable throughout. You can lose maybe one person a fight or something like that, but if you start having these, 5v6, 4v6 disadvantages at that close to the enemy spawn, you will start losing fights and you will lose the ability to hold that chokehold down. But again, Chicken Contendies so solid at maintaining composure in that particular part of the map. Really did a good job of also enabling their Zarya player, Harblu, who, again, has really stepped up, it seems, on his Zarya play as well.
And I think anyone who watched Open Division would have thought that Lisu was at least superior to Harblu in that Zarya value that we spoke about. And you're right, Harblu obviously worked on this very hard. And he even said that Zarya is just not his hero, but he's really stepping up to the plate. Grab build-up, same as Lisu. And even the Reinhardts are just neck and neck, but it's Chicken Contendies that are so much better at peeling, hence why they just never died, and their support ultimates always used either during the grabs or when Gig would drop.
You have to start wondering, maybe Paradigm goes for a different win condition, right? I mean, Zengoats versus Zengoats hasn't worked well for them since that first round of Busan. They've really struggled ever since. I mean, it's been very dominant in favor of Chicken Contendies. Maybe you start playing maps where you can pull something else out, and maybe that can be an option for you, or at least put some more pressure onto Harblu and make sure that you're killing him between fights to deny some of that ability for him to just be charging grab after grab after grab.
Yeah, and if Chicken Contendies get this point, I mean, Paradigm need to not be completely obliterated in that fight, because that yellow box of victory is right around the corner. Chicken Contendies already up 1-0, maybe up to 2-0 after this, as a first pick is very bad here. Paradigm lost their Brigida and now lost their main shield. Paradigm just can't go down too early here. Chicken Contendies will get the point from this, but now the question is how Paradigm set up this defense for that yellow box of victory right around the corner.
It's going to be so tough. I mean, Harblu has been able to outpace Lisu even on this attack here, so they're going to have the option to just drop that right away. And if they get 2 kills right out of that grab, that's all Hard Blue needs with Chicken Contendies backing him up. If they get 2 kills, that's a fight win for them, and they can close this out.
Well, the Graviton launched a little early. No self-destruct to pair with it, and Paradigm were ready with their Transcendence. Gig, just barely got saved there from a sound barrier, and Chicken Contendies making so much space, and no one there for Paradigms to touch. Oh no, Chicken Contendies, man, they're looking so good. They're leading this 2-0 now.
This has been far more dominant than I would have ever anticipated between these two teams, and really solid play from Chicken Contendies so far. You can see the control that not only Hard Blue offers, but look at Gig as well. You know, this guy Chazzy here, he's going to come forward and he's really going to step things up, dropping Earth Shatters, really making sure that he creates the space for Hard Blue to actually do the things that you've been seeing him be able to do. And if we move into a map 3, expect that to continue as well, because it looks like there's no brakes on this train at all.
No brakes on the pain train that Chicken Contendies are bringing. But you bring up a good point of space creation. I just think the front line of Chicken Contendies were so much better commanding the space. Think about Paradigm. They got the point unlocked. Their spawns are close. They never had any sort of momentum, any sort of advantage once they got the payload unlocked. Chicken Contendies, they just held that wall. They held that fortress around the payload on their defense. And on the offense, as soon as they won that fight, as soon as Chicken Contendies knew they had the advantage, they pushed forward and occupied as much space as possible. But what's so smart about them is it's never too much space. It's never just out of position, overextension. They just know how much they can get away with.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this next map in particular. So we have confirmation that it is going to be Volskaya. And something interesting, if you guys watched Open Division playoffs, is the way that then Alpha Gaming, now Paradigm, plays that map, especially defensively. Point A, they actually like to play a double sniper approach that seemed virtually impenetrable by any team that they put it up against in the playoffs. So if we see that here, I imagine them pulling this map out will be the signal that they are going to be pulling that out, and they are going for a separate win condition, something different than what we've already gotten from them, Zen Goats being the case there. And I like that. I like the fact that they're going for something different here, and I expect that to be their approach defensively to start this map off and maybe have a shot at turning this around.